Hello, everybody. Welcome back here with an update on why I don't like core mining. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so I've been cleaning up all of my research. I think it's looking way better. The format is much better and a lot more digestible. Okay, in doing so, I'm reviewing each company one last time to see if I've overlooked anything, if I've kind of forgotten anything, and to solidify, refine, and perhaps change some of my thinking. In doing so, I actually have downgraded Coeur Mining, and we'll get into that right now. So I cleaned up a lot of their research. Their website is one of the messier ones that I've come across. We'll jump into that more in a little bit. So they only have 3 silver mines, Palmarejo, Rochester, and Silvertip. Palmarejo taking up the most of their current production. They're ramping up Rochester and they're starting Silvertip. Okay, right off the bat, and I'll cover this in a little more detail. Their website, the page for Silvertip implies that that Silvertip is closed. So let me bring that up. 1 second, please. Thank you. All right, so here we go. It says they temporarily suspended mining and processing activities in early 2020. Okay, fair enough, due to unfavorable market conditions as well as ongoing operational challenges. So that doesn't bode well either way, in my opinion. It says they have since conducted additional technical work and exploration activities to evaluate and support a potential expansion and restart of the operation. This implies to me that they haven't restarted it yet. Now, in all of their forms and elsewhere on their website, it implies they have started up. I'm fairly certain they have. But that's not like, that should be abundantly clear to an investor such as myself. Okay. They've made significant progress to advance Silvertip, but additional exploration, drilling, and engineering studies are underway to further de-risk and enhance the economics of a potential restart. Right, so right there, that implies that it's still closed. Now, in their financial documents, they're putting money into it. It seems like it's still producing silver. So, not clear to me. The other thing I'll jump right into, I'll get a little ahead of myself here, which is all right. If we go to the most, I like looking through the technical reports of the mines. So their biggest current silver producing mine is Palmarejo. I want to see that technical report. If I click here to get that most recent technical report, right, we'll see that it's dated 2015. So they haven't updated that link and I can't find it elsewhere on their website. And that's very important to me to have data on the main silver mine as well as most of the other producing ones. Okay, so that doesn't bode well in my mind as an investor. Okay, so right off the bat, it's not clear fully the state Silvertip is their main exploration silver mine, and I can't get the most recent data on their biggest silver mine. So that's not good, right? No matter how we look at that. Moving on from that, we can see they've diversified a little bit in their assets. So Palmarejo, which is blue, has gone from 45 to 36. We've seen Kensington, which is mainly a gold mine. In fact, it's a pure gold mine, has gone up quite a bit. And Rochester, which is their second silver mine, has gone up quite a bit. Silvertip isn't listed on here. Okay, maybe it's in the other category, right? So to me, it looks like they're moving more into gold based on this alone. Okay. I also noted they are spread out across multiple countries, so there's not necessarily that economics of scale. We've seen for 1 or 2 other companies that have mines close by that can share the same mill, that can share the road system, transportation, and save costs that way. Okay. Silvercrest has that. Not First Majestic, Mag Silver and Fresh Neo at the very least, even though they're separate companies, which I'll get more into, can do that as well for their main mine. Okay. The reason I originally liked this company was this sort of data. Okay. They are focusing on free cash flow. Now, it has gone up over the long run quite a bit. Okay. 11 million. But we do see it's declined very heavily in the past couple of quarters. Take that for what it's worth, but it is up overall. And I do like that they are focusing on free cash flow because that implies they're focusing on improving the fundamentals of the business, since I believe that that's one of the best metrics in this industry, this sector, and a lot of people agree with that. Okay. They're also trying to improve EBITDA margin. Fair enough. That's good. I'm not too concerned with cash and cash equivalents unless it was like super negative, right? Excuse me. So, hey, that's not a bad thing. More cash is good, right? And then their leverage ratio is down, right? Once again, not necessarily a bad thing unless they were super over leveraged. That would be more of a yellow flag if it was super high versus like a great thing here. But hey, if that's what they're focusing on, that's not a bad thing either. I'm primarily concerned with free cash flow, the underlying costs, how much silver they have, the grade of the silver, the all-in sustaining costs, and some of those other financial metrics that I can get off of their forms. Okay. They have their allocation framework. I do like the transparency on this, what they're trying to move their free cash into. Okay. So they're exploring brownfield. Okay. Fair enough. Not a huge deal to me. Opportunistic M&A. Fair enough. And then they're optimizing their assets. Now that does kind of come back to, they appear to be trying to optimize assets for their gold mines. Okay. So that's all well and good. And then it's just kind of their plan, expansion, exploration, optimization. All right, fair enough. If we look here, we can see Rochester, one of their silver mines, they're trying to improve throughput. That's good. I like that. Okay. Where is Silvertip? Silvertip, they're also exploring, right? We talked about that. I think that they are still running Silvertip, but there is some doubt based on their website. Okay. I want full transparency in my companies that I invest in. So, all right. Anyhow, and then they're trying to build on Palmarejo, Silvertip, you name it. Okay. So here we have their CapEx by mines. We can see that Rochester is taking quite a bit more, right? So that was their second silver mine. Let's go ahead and underline that while we're at it. Right, so I would like an exploration of why that CapEx is going up very, very high. Now, they did say they are doing the most exploration they ever have at 250,000 feet across all their sites. So that could play some part into that. And then we we do see that their capital expenditures is going more from sustaining to developing, right? Which goes back into what we talked about. They're trying to build out their mines. They're trying to do more exploration. Okay, so that's not a bad thing by any means. It's gone up quite a bit though. So 99 million to what? 260 to 325 million. Okay, that could pay off huge. Okay, I'm not too interested in that. And then it's their expansion timeline, which ideally I'd like to see that sooner. Inflation's really starting to take off. I think it will occur before the end of the year, or at the very least, like super early next year. And in that case, this is a little later than I would like to see. Okay. And I covered how they already are mining quite a bit more, which is good. I like to see that. I am interested in current large silver mines as well as the exploration companies. Okay, so I do like to see that they're exploring more than they ever have. That being said, we can see that their exploration investments are going primarily toward, give me 1 second, note of this. Rochester is, that's the total. Rochester 17% capitalized, 13% expensed. Palmarejo at 19.27 for 21 overall. Silvertip's probably in the other category here. Oh, no, it's down there. Excuse me. Let me make a note of that. All right, so we can see that Silvertip and Palmarejo are a large category of that total exploration investment. Okay. So that's all well and good. I'd like to see that. And typically I keep this in another section. This is the proven, the probable, the indicated, the measured, and the inferred. Okay. I'm not concerned with gold, right? Good data to have. And I'm not concerned with zinc and lead, right? Or other non-precious metals, okay? Does make them money, but I think silver is going very, very high. I think it's super undervalued, so I'm primarily concerned with that, okay? So let me move this out a little bit. Let's clean this up a teeny bit. Okay, great. And we could see that in their inferred, it's gone down a little bit, okay? I'm not too concerned with inferred overall. I am more concerned with proven probable, but let's move toward increasing economic viability and geological certainty. So the measured and indicated has gone up 5% year over year. That's pretty good, right? So we can move that. Sure, some of my lines have been deleted, but it is what it is. Now, that being said, though, their proven and probable has gone up a lot. 42 year over year increase, right? And they're very certain of that silver being there. They're very certain of its grade, and it's economically viable for them to mine. Okay, so that's a pretty big deal. That was one of the reasons I liked them originally. Okay, they have their leverage ratios. Not too concerned with that. I was going to discuss their senior debt notes a little bit. It's not the end of the world. So let's continue on. Now, here is where things got a little funky for me. I could not readily find their all-in sustaining costs on their website, despite searching for it for a very long time. And a lot of their technical reports, their news articles, yada, yada, right? The closest I can find was their CAS, which is the cost applicable to sales. I might be saying that wrong. Cost applicable to sales. Right? So if we assume that that's what they're substituting for the all-in sustaining cost, it appears to be in about the same ballpark. I would assume it's understating it a little bit. We can see that that's not only above the $10 threshold that I like to see, it's also relatively high. It's not the worst I've seen. It's also not the best. Okay. So there you go, right? And they have Palmarejo listed. They have Rochester. There's not Silvertip listed in this, okay? That's in their 2021 guidance. So that comes back to, they say they're mining Silvertip. They say they're not mining Silvertip. Their website says they are, and then some of their forms say they are. Yay. All right, so then they have their CapEx as well. I'd like to see this. This makes comparison to other companies easy, especially when it comes to kind of ratios, right? What's their CapEx to this, that? What's the enterprise value to this, to that? Okay, so I'd like to see that. Then they did break it down by mine. So I'm very happy with that. I got rid of the gold mines that they had. I am interested in the silver mines once again. So we can see that their mine life on Palmarejo is 8 years. Okay, that's very realistic. They started it a couple of years ago. Remember that first technical document was 2015. So if we assume that that's the starting date, which it's probably a little after because the feasibility reports, setting things up, you name it. 2015 plus 8 is 2023. Okay, let's say 2024. So that mine is getting there in terms of its end of life. Okay, which means Rochester and Silvertip, if they are restarting Silvertip, have to pick up that production slack. Okay, and in this case, right, if we look here, excuse me, we can see their company-wide 2021 production, the estimated for Palmarejo, is about 65% of their almost 11 million ounces of silver. Okay, so that's not good in my perspective, unless they can quickly ramp up production at Rochester and Silvertip. Okay, so we do see their inferred resources, which is typically what they're exploring for, measured and indicated as well. The inferred's going down. Okay, now proven probable, measured and indicated going up. Take that for what it's worth. What we can see is the operating cash flow as well is going down. Okay, and it's going down very much so for this mine. And that's not good to me unless Rochester and Silvertip make up that slack. Their capital expenditures on the mine are also going up again, going up quite a bit. Okay, so to see their main silver mine coming to the end of its mine life, it's taking up more cost and generating less cash flow. And then one of their other remaining silver mines is in a dubious state at best by their own admission, does not impress me with this company. Okay. That being said, they have Rochester at 35% of their silver production. Oh, oh. Let's go ahead and add some notes there. One second, please. Oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. Should fill. And let's make it blue. Okay. We can't see in all the categories, however, it is increasing. So I'm typically concerned with proven probable. Once again, that's gone up quite a bit. So that is good in of itself. Okay. Now they have their operating cash flow and capital expenditures for this mine. Capital expenditures is going up quite a bit, but since they're expanding this mine, that makes sense. It's relatively early in its mine life compared to a lot of the other mines I've seen. Okay. So 18 years, still realistic, a little bit on the longer side. It's not outside that 20-year of, they're probably super pumping this up. So that's good. We can see they're building it up. Now their cash flow is negative. And even when it's been positive, it's not super positive. Now they are ramping it up. So in a year, 2 years, 5 years, right? That sort of thing. Heck, even 10 years, since it's such a long mine life, we'll see that reverse. But to see their main mine coming to the end of its mine life and its costs are going up and its cash flow is going down, to see their second mine still kind of being set up and then Silvertip being in a dubious state, once again, to me, that's a hard no. Okay. And then here we have Silvertip, five years, setting it up in Canada. And then I kind of clipped in that message again, that it's like, don't know whether that's starting up or not. Okay. Then they have a lot of their data, and some of this is financial, which I would have preferred to have moved that to the financial section, but it was in the presentation, so is what it is. We can see their production, right? So a little over 6 million ounces of silver, which is not the best I've seen, certainly not the worst. Their proven and probable is very high, 60 million. Some of the other mines were quite a bit larger, but that is certainly respectable. Okay. Then they have their measured and indicated at 51 million. Excuse me again. Then they have their inferred at 10+ million. So that is a sizable amount of silver. Okay. Now that comes back to one of my original arguments against some people online, that it comes down to, do they have a large mine? Can they get it quickly and cheaply? Can they do it efficiently, right? Are their costs super high, CapEx, what have you, versus cash flow? And then can they transition to another mine? So they definitely have a large amount of silver, but there are those other circumstances, which I just covered, that I'm like, don't like this company. Okay. Then it gets a little trickier. I probably moved one of the pictures. We'll come back to that. Their silver grade is good. In a lot of these videos, I've been talking about how a certain miner does not have a high silver grade, and it's almost all of these companies is above 100. Okay. And 100's generally what a lot of people consider good, right? So when I say the silver grade is not as good as I would like to see, it's relative to the other companies in my selection, right? In the established silver miners, okay? So to see this, that's quite a bit lower than some of the other companies I've seen, both for proven and probable, measured, indicated, and inferred, okay? Now, They do break it down by mine. I might have deleted it. Let me see if I can find it. I know I was trying to move some stuff over here. 1 second. Yeah, sometimes there a lot of documents kind of fit multiple categories on here. I tried to put reserves in its own thing. You can see some of it was in the presentation, but it was in the presentation. So anyhow, it was very hard to find their metallurgical recovery rates as well. From that 2015 technical report on Palmarejo, they talked about their different ways of getting the silver out of the rock. So there were a lot of tables on this on different methods they were trying. Now, once again, that was 2015. Old data does not talk about any progress or updates. And there wasn't like a hard final number after 3 or 4 years that I could readily find on this website that said, yeah, our recovery rate is 85%, 90, 95. Okay. I did find in that old technical report, and once again, this is hard to say because a lot of companies improve it over time. I believe I covered that with IEA. I've seen that for a couple other companies where they have a graph saying we started out here, we changed this, we changed this. We've gone from, I've seen like 70 up to 80, sometimes low 90%. So the clearest number I could find, which was years ago, probably outdated, was 85% for silver, right? Now their updated was, we think, not updated, but are projected for 2017 to 2022, which that would be this year. It's about 87. So that's also not the highest I've seen. I like to see above 90, but that's not bad. Once again, outdated information. It could be above 90 for all I know. The document is not clear. It's hard to find. Okay. So we then have their silver recovery, and this was, once again, their test results. A lot of them were higher on different types of rock. So not clear on getting an answer for that one. And then those lines all got screwed up on their measured in resources. That's okay. Where? See, and so then I was able to find in their financial forms, perhaps a little clearer answer. It's 82% here. Now, and that is a 2021 form, but I'm not sure that that's true because they started out at 85 and they were projected to go up. So a lot of their forms don't line up, okay? Then their adjusted cost applicable to sales, which once again, I'm kind of using that as an imperfect proxy for their all-in sustaining costs. Overall is $13. It's above 10, okay? And then per mine, sometimes it's a little better, sometimes it's a little worse. Okay, so even the basic facts, are not impressive. Their financials from their presentation seem all right, but then it's not clear. Let's see. I know there was one other thing I want to talk about that I'm missing. I might have deleted that. Oh no, here it is. Yeah. Okay. So one other thing I saw was when they were talking about the grade of the Rochester mine, they had it in ounces to tons, where other mines typically have the G to T, and the G to T is the industry standard, right? The grams per ton. So to see it in a different format as well is odd. And the rest of that technical report, which was a recent one, I believe, said, no, it was 2020. I'll have to look at 2021. Well, actually, no, so that might have been the most recent one that was in late 2020. Okay, fair enough. It just was weird to see it in this format. And when I converted it using an online website, that's super low. So I'm assuming that's not correct. I went ahead and emailed them and I asked for clarification on these numbers, and we'll see what they say. But to be kind of this confused on some of the basic metrics supported by the industry does not bode well in my mind. So unless their financials are the best I've seen, I would not invest in this company. And even then, don't know, right? Something odd is going on. So the silver grade was all right for the one I could find for Palmarejo. The all-in sustaining cost was not easy to find, and the cost applicable to sales was relatively high. They did have a large mine, right? We talked about that, 60 million proven and probable. And that's not even the whole shebang, because if silver goes super high, measured then becomes, no, measured is economically feasible. Excuse me. So inferred, indicated will move up as well into proven and probable. Okay. So 60 million, not including what's below the current cutoff, and the cutoff is going to go high. That's pretty good. Then the metallurgical recovery rates are not necessarily clear, and they don't appear to be good from what I could find. And then they have their silver mines in one in Mexico, one in Western United States, and one in Canada. So there's not going to be any sort of economies of scale there. So even based on the basic facts, I don't like this company. I downgraded them because of it. I was iffy about them, but not feeling good about it. Probably will still calculate their financials. Once again, they better be the best I've ever seen in a company. But that's that. I did want to then give a final update kind of on the layout of this form. And I meant to move these up. That's okay. And we can see the recovery rate here for Palmarejo. So that's a little clear. It's 80%. So it's below what their original report was. Just their numbers are all over the place, right? Once again, ounces per ton. Never seen that, right? That's not the agreed upon metric. So converting it makes it look very low. So maybe that's why they did that, right? Odd, very odd. Anyhow, what I wanted to do, I think I didn't necessarily get around this, is what I'm going to do for each of the companies is for the financial section, put the balance sheet first, either income or statement and cash flow second, and then the remaining of those. So if I do the income statement second, I want to do the cash flow statement third. That way I have the clear financials at the top. You can see here, I have them listed here, and I can dig into them easily if I decide to come back to this company, which I'm not really even on the fence about. But you can see I have the balance sheets by each other, so I can move those to the very top. I can then do the income statement or the cash flow underneath that, and then the other one beneath that. So I can flip between my tabs easily, and it's okay. Here's the balance sheet for Silvercrest. Here's the balance sheet for Pan American Silver. Here's the balance sheet for Helka Mine, right? So I do like that because those are relatively more consistent across different companies than, say, some of what else they report. Some companies do like to break stuff down by mines in their financial forms. Some other companies, it's a little harder to find it, or it's in a different format, okay? The financial forms are, are ruled by law. So they have a much more standard format. And that can also be said about the corporate presentation, that it's sometimes, especially for mag silver, it was very geology heavy and not like accounting or financial metrics heavy. And I mean, that's something I'm going to talk about when I get to mag. But yeah, so I try to also standardize the corporate presentation I want, where their mines are located, how they view themselves in the industry, how they view their competitors, what they think makes them stand out in terms of KPIs, whether I like those. Once again, I like cash flow. I want to see enterprise value. I want to see EBITDA. I want to see the recovery rates, hopefully in the presentation. I want to see the general grade. If they have net present value of their mines, their IRR, that sort of thing, right? But there's a lot of variability in there per company. So their corporate presentation was overall pretty good. I think it's pretty transparent. So they got that going for them, but not too impressed with even kind of this preliminary glance over. And then digging deeper was not giving clear answers to basic questions. So in that regard, I've made them made them dark red because their financials better impress me. So I'm pretty sure I gave very good reasons for why I don't like Aya, gold, and silver. I didn't quite finish the financials on that, but they weren't bad, but some of their costs were pretty high. I have those metrics. Core, I now probably dislike the most based on that lack of transparency and unclear what the progress is on some of their mines, how their current mines are doing, stuff like that. And I'm just going to continue on. I'm really trying to hammer it out. I think it's going pretty well. I actually think for Core, I developed sort of the final format in that it's corporate presentation minus some of the fluff, trying to standardize that. Like I said, MAG is very heavy in their presentation on geology, which is better fits under the geology section. I have their financial form section, which I want balance sheet, and then either income or cash flow, and reverse the other one. Probably do balance income and balance cash flow and then income, I figure. I do like pouring through the news as well. I didn't necessarily cover that for Core because it didn't really show me anything that changed my mind. And then what's my other format? And then reserve the geology and the reserves, and then kind of the logic picking out through those previous sections of why I dislike them or like them. Okay. So hopefully you found this video entertaining. Hopefully you learned something about these companies. I think the research is coming along very well. I'm very happy with it. More or less ruled out one more company. I mean, I wasn't liking it anyways, so it wasn't my choice. But I think it's a lot clearer now why I don't like them. And I mean, hopefully people see this that can figure out more about this company if they want to. I emailed the company, so we'll see what they say. We'll go from there. So I would say they're off the table unless something changes. So that rules out. That's two, I would say 3 of what my remaining 7 stocks. So there you go. Hopefully this is a nice little update. Hopefully this helped you learn something. Hopefully you can make a better investment decision from this. I wish you the best of luck. Have a good Wednesday. Bye-bye.